Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in Smackdown Live. Who needs Raw?
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it Raw. Oh, baby, I like it Raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Banana.
You're not named Banana, Dan.
I could be named Banana.
You're not named Banana, Dan.
I'll be Banana if I want to be Banana. You can't tell me what to do.
Technically, you're correct. Technically,
Fat.
you're right.
Hang on, I gotta get this on the right thing so it just says fat. I really like it.
I like it when it says fat. Don't worry, look, I'll crop it out no matter what.
You crop it right. You crop it right, yeah.
That's gonna be my main goal when I'm editing this, is just to, like, I'm gonna real time do the crop.
It's just gonna go up and down.
So it always says fat. Yeah.
Stabilizer this.
Yeah, exactly. And welcome to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to, available on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud.com/Stephen Larson, YouTube.com/Stephen Larson, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio,
YouTube.
I was very Dan. You don't even know what we've been doing with our Going In Raw lately, but I'm going to give you a status.
You guys have taken this ball and ran with it. You really have. It's just you've made it like a global franchise. Like before, we were like, "Hey, let's do a wrestling podcast." Yeah, and then now it's like you're sitting in this massive office, like 50,000 stories in the sky.
We're gonna buy the WWE office soon and make it the Going In Raw office.
we're like, hold on, what did you say? We're eating a caviar.
I know.
People are coming in serving us shit. Hold on, we're on our 5th course now.
You got like a T-Rex skull on the wall as well. It's like
there's like, hold on, here's a picture of me hunting an elephant. I wouldn't really hunt an elephant. I think it's horrible. That's why it's a joke, Larson. No, but the most exciting news is, like, because of our work, our diligent work in the audio field, our podcast the other day was 2 steps above X-Pac's podcast in the sports category in iTunes. So you got to be proud of us, Dan.
I'm very proud. I'm very proud of you.
Very glad.
Where are we in relation to Ryback's?
We're always like we trade blows. We trade blows. He's below. Last time I checked, he was below us, but then he goes above us sometimes whenever he gets like a good guest, which isn't really that often. So
we should go there. Fuse, co-branding.
I know. Well, okay, so I don't know if you saw, but we interviewed Sasha Banks and AJ Styles.
Everybody that I know in the last month met up with loads of wrestlers, and I'm so annoyed.
Well, you know, it's kind of with us and Xavier. You should try to get on Xavier Woods' channel. Apparently, he loves gaming YouTubers, so he would probably do you. Like he's been on Total Biscuits, or they've done something.
I know. I watched that because we got nominated for the same award last year. We were the Golden Joystick Gaming Personality.
Right. Yeah.
So we're rivals in Xavier Woods.
Let's talk. Clash of the Champions.
Yeah. Clash of Champions.
It's not even just you, because Emma Blackery, we do a heist? Didn't you guys do a heist with Emma Blackery?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. She met Seth Rollins. She went to the London one.
Yeah, I saw
met
that.
with like Seth and everyone, and I was there going like, I couldn't go to that because I had to look after my dog and stuff. It's fine.
Well, Dan, I'm telling you, listen, come to WrestleMania.
It's warm there.
Here's our thing. Could we tell you we're going to be on this panel, right? It's this internet wrestling YouTube panel thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called the Internet Darlings, and a bunch of these nerdy like wrestling YouTubers do it. We're nerdy YouTube. It's okay. We can say that we're wrestling. We're nerdy wrestling. Anybody who talks about wrestling on YouTube is kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
We're literally, our co-host is named NerdCubed. He's all the nerd. So, anyways, we're going to this thing, and we want you to be our Hogan. Because we're like Hall and Nash, and this is the NWO, and if like Dan NerdCube's like, wait a second, this is NerdCube, he's here for a wrestling thing? But he's like Hogan, like he's huge, but he's here for the wrestling thing.
I thought you just wanted me to be really racist.
What's that?
Just come there, just be really racist in the corner. But you didn't mean that. Okay, no, I get it now what you actually meant. Okay.
Oh, no, Dan, no. Okay, listen. I've tried to block that whole Hogan is a racist thing out of because he's coming back. They're going to bring him back, so we're going to have to get used to it.
He was in a lot of the trailers and stuff yesterday.
Wait, what? Say again, what?
Oh, the network.
They started putting him in that, yeah.
Yeah,
speaking of yesterday, Night of the Champions was yesterday.
Clash of Champions.
That's right.
Night of the Clash of the Champions of the museum.
I wish they'd put that in there. Overall, I thought it was... What's that?
Yeah. And stairs. Just yeah. Actually, that's what they should do, right? They should have, like, you know those games you have to add a word on the end? That's what their pay-per-view should do. Like, start a year, they start with one word. So it's like WrestleMania, and then it's like WrestleMania ladders. The next one just has ladders, and then WrestleMania ladders champions, and all the champions have to wrestle. WrestleMania ladders champions hell, and then they're in Hell in Cell.
Hell?
They just add things on. Yeah,
I like that.
And then by the end of it, you've got like a 27 long pay-per-view title.
WrestleMania ladders, Hell's burgers, and then everybody just sits around eating burgers.
That's an interesting stipulation.
That'd be the best stipulation.
Because I got the fat shirt on.
Yeah, there you go. You got the fat shirt on, exactly. You're the fat champion.
Wow.
I'm coming after you for your fat belt, Dan. For your fat title, I think.
The belt doesn't do up. I'm like, oh, come on.
I can lay a much better claim to the fat belt than you can. I thought there were two really good matches. And I thought the rest were like Raw level quality matches.
Well, I know you've been saying for a while, specifically about the women's division, that they feel the creative must feel need to protect the top talent. It seems like that same attitude applies to all of Raw.
I know everybody on Raw has to be protected in some way, shape, or form.
So many matches had endings that were put in place that seemed to protect the person who was going to lose.
Yeah. Let's just go down the line, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, the pre-show, again, somebody needs to be protected against somebody who does not need to be protected. Nia Jax beat Alicia Fox. We also have this coming a mile away. Have you been watching Raw lately?
I haven't seen it. I at the end of when this one finished, I was like, I should probably just go and watch a bit of Backlash because I've been out of it.
Yeah,
like Backlash was really good.
House buying and dog being ill and everything was just like, life was like this. I was like, okay, cool. So I really enjoyed this because I was like, oh man, I'm watching wrestling again. Remember when I used to do that? Remember when I used to have free time?
Yeah, I remember when you used to have a good time with it. Yeah, oddly enough, the tables have kind of turned. Like, so when the brand split happened, I like that we get to recap Dan on what's been going on in wrestling. When the brand split happened.
That's this podcast.
Yeah.
I just happen to also be on it.
Exactly. Well, when the brand split, that kind of adds to the absurdity of this now. When the brand split happened, SmackDown was obviously the brand who didn't get like the wealth of talent that Raw got. But Raw ended up being the show that plays it way too safe. And SmackDown is this weird, goofy, highly entertaining show. And now it has AJ Styles, who I think is like the best wrestler on the planet, as the world champ. And that everybody seems to just like SmackDown better. And so Backlash was actually a really entertaining pay-per-view. And you get Raw, and it's just this thing where, like you said, everybody has to be protected. Like, you can't make any of these people, like, the women's division in SmackDown has 6 or 7 wrestlers in it. And they can all, to a degree, be interchanged in the story. And they're all really interesting matchups.
They're all viable contenders as well.
And they're all booked strong, and they're all booked with strengths, and they're all booked with weaknesses. And on Raw in the women's division there, and this applies to the men's too, to the main event scene there, but in the women's division, you've got like 5 wrestlers, 4 of whom have to be protected. You've got Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and Nia Jax all have to be protected, and you only have Alicia Fox and then Paige, who's injured, and is there one more? Oh, and Dana Brooke. All who really don't need to be protected. So it's like this really weird split of like people who can never look bad. But on SmackDown, they're fine making people look strong and weak at the same time. It's absolutely a really weird sort of dichotomy. It's a weird sort of split happening here.
Yes, I like SmackDown. I saw the Miz thing, the Miz and Daniel Bryan thing.
Yeah, it was good.
I saw that. I was like, I should watch SmackDown, and I've never thought that about Raw before.
Well, the funny thing is with SmackDown, not only is it, Raw has the benefit, if you want to call it that, of that third hour. I mean, now they have the Cruiserweight, so we're probably gonna see them fill out that third hour. It's gonna be less of a black hole. But with SmackDown, they pack it into a really good 2 hours, and then you have this Talking Smack thing, which is where that Daniel Bryan Miz thing was, and okay, granted, it should be like just this throwaway post show, but it's highly entertaining. Like they bring they bring the roster on, like they bring different people on every week, and it's like Daniel Bryan just tries to get them off their game. Like he basically like throws them questions that sort of challenges them to stay in character. And it's just this really weirdly entertaining thing that just adds to this weird, entertaining SmackDown that's happening.
Well, we've been saying for weeks that Raw is the show you're obligated to watch.
Yeah.
SmackDown is the show that you want to watch.
It's the show, yeah, exactly. Raw is the show that it feels like Raw is the show that that front office wants to be important because they have Seth and they have Kevin Owens, and I think those are the two guys, and Roman Reigns to a degree that they want to protect the hell out of those guys. They know that those guys are the face of the company. Whereas SmackDown has like The Miz, who has benefited the most from the brand split, in my opinion. And then yesterday we see over on Raw, Sheamus, I think, has benefited on the Raw side more than anybody. I felt that Cesaro Sheamus, like when they announced a best of 7, everybody, there's this huge collective sigh, like we got to watch Sheamus Cesaro. But it was the match of the night last night, and I called it beforehand. I was like, this is going to be the match of the night. These guys are going to tear it down because they don't have a lot to lose. They don't really have to be protected that much. And even though the finish did protect them, I kind of liked the finish to that match because it reminded me of all the stories we like now that we do a bit more research when we're doing our trivia shit. It reminded me, it was like a throwback to the golden era, like George Hackenschmidt and Frank, when they would do like 8-hour matches and it would go to a draw, and nobody would win.
Well, even when Ric Flair was champ during his first run,
they would do 1 hour time limits.
Yeah, all his matches would be 1 hour time limit draws to make his opponent look good.
So I thought, I don't know, I kind of appreciated it on that level of, you know what, fuck it, these guys. This is a 7th and decisive match. Fuck it, let's make it not be a decisive match.
Yeah.
That feels like a SmackDown move.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that it was a dusty finish. Oh, they can't continue. No, these guys fucked themselves up, and they did a really good job of making it look like they fucked. Cesaro with that suicide dive, which I think they can get rid of suicide dives altogether. But fuck me, he looked like he gave himself a stinger.
At least.
At least.
I mean, it looked like at first that he seriously damaged his head and or neck.
If his muscle wasn't literally made of like intertwined steel, he probably would be massively.
Well, he's lucky his head landed like this,
I know,
as opposed to like that. If his head had led up like that, then he really would have messed himself up.
But I actually, a lot of people were bitching about the dusty finish that happened there, but I was like, that kind of like these are just two guys who are just throwing down at just the mere chance of a, Meanwhile, Seth is getting a title shot. I'm sure Roman Reigns is getting his free title shots. Meanwhile, these two guys are battling night in, night out. They're putting on, this last one was to me the match of the night, and they showed why.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I thought
it helps elevate the Universal title without the Universal title being directly involved.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That to me was my match of the night. I felt I had a gut feeling that was going to be the match of the night, and to me it ended up being that way, even with the no contest finish.
I really enjoyed the 619. It just came out of nowhere.
That was fucking hilarious because I swear to God, that looked like if I had done a 619. That was like the one time Cesaro did not look smooth at all. Like, even running to do it, it looked like he was figuring out, and it makes me wonder if he called an audible and was like, Sheamus, say 619. And Sheamus was like, what? And then he, like, on the return Irish whip, 619, get in the position. All right, whatever. You go ahead and do it. And then he, like, just decided to do it on the spot because it looked like he had never done it before. And he just sort of jogged into it. And then, and we know Cesaro, if he wanted to, could probably hit an excellent 619. But just the way he did it, he just sort of plotted into it and then kind of did it as if he was just doing it as a joke. I don't know. I thought that was really good.
I really enjoyed it. It was just silly. He didn't because I've seen Ray do it, and Ray comes out like straight. He kind of went like,
it was like this.
Gravity took over.
he sort of like just jumped kind of into it. Yeah. I'm all doing this weird fucking finger movement. Anyways, what other highlights were there on the show?
I thought the club looked really strong to start the tag match. If they had looked like this during their entire run, I'd been really impressed.
I missed this because I was at the mall buying a new dishwasher because my dishwasher broke.
It was a good match.
But I came out like that night after it all ended. I went back and tried to watch it again, and then somebody else in the house started bugging me. So I didn't actually watch it. I watched a little bit. I saw like there was like a sit-down powerbomb of some sort, like a running. I think it was a running powerbomb that Anderson gave somebody, and that looked really good. But I didn't see what was the actual finish of the match because I heard some people crowing about it.
Xavier hit Carl with the trombone, and then Big E hit his finisher. Oh, they did the Kofi and Big E did their duo finisher.
Okay.
And got the pin.
Okay.
So I think people were making a point of saying that the New Day had resorted to heel tactics.
Okay.
To win the match.
I would actually really like if they turn heel again. Well, I also like yesterday was the 400 day.
No, yesterday was 399, I think.
Okay, so today will be 400. So are we thinking maybe the clubs will get their rematch and take the title?
I mean, for the last two pay-per-views, we thought the odds were pretty good the club could win.
Well, then I say tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. Bright lights. Everybody going down.
Get down.
Get down.
Everybody going down. You're on the wrong channel. Definitely.
Well, you know what? One of our friendos on Twitter suggested, because we do Smackdown live recaps, they said, "What do you guys need to do? Going down live." As that's instead of going in Raw, going down live. And I was like, because we have a bunch of people saying, you should call it Smacking Live, you call it Smackdown Live. And I'm like, no, I don't like anything. But he said going down live. We'll never do it, but that's my favorite by far suggestion for our Smackdown show.
Yeah.
Can't happen. Going down live. That's great. Anyways. More highlights.
The Cruiserweight Championship.
What's that?
Yes. The Cruiserweight Championship match.
Yes, that's where we're going to go right now.
Brian Kendrick went heel, as we predicted.
Yeah, we sort of saw that coming. I was surprised, I guess. I was actually skeptical that they would have him go as full heel there at the end, as I think maybe you were, because you saw this coming. You said they're going to go full heel with him. And I was surprised that they sort of... I was surprised that they did this because it sort of sets up a storyline.
Yeah.
And I didn't figure they would set up a storyline. But they're doing a storyline with the Cruiserweight. That's cool. I like that. I like it a lot.
Did you watch any of the Cruiserweight Classic, Dan?
No, I did not. That was my first thing that I've seen in the Cruiserweights. Yeah, that was my match of the night, that one. Because I always said that I really enjoyed the Cruiserweight stuff and the other things that we watch. And I haven't seen anything like that at all. That's great.
Yeah.
And the ropes were purple. And I like the ropes being purple.
Yeah. There is a couple of really outstanding matches in the Cruiserweight Classic. Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander is probably my favorite. And Cedric's going to be on Raw. But he's been doing NXT. They've been getting wins for him left and right. They have huge plans for him.
Yep.
Huge plans for him. And it makes me wonder if he's going to pull double duty on Raw and as
I read that
NXT.
A lot of the Cruiserweights are going to be on both Raw and NXT.
I like that. Establishing stories on NXT while pulling double duty on Raw. I think that's an interesting spin on what they usually do with NXT.
Yeah.
Hell of a match. Some really, really good spots. Some really good storytelling. Brian Kendrick's like hella old, so he's like our age.
Yeah.
I think he was like born in 79.
Yeah, I think he's 37.
Yeah. And lots of really good spots. I like that match a lot.
It was very fun.
I'm sure we'll get a rematch at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Go ahead, Dan.
I'm sorry, I was saying that there's a move I can't remember what it was, but somebody did something. They went off the corner. Didn't they do like a hurricanrana off the ropes onto them on the side and then onto the?
Yeah.
That made me think that they were all dead.
Yeah, no,
that was one of those moments where you go, oh, they've killed each other. Oh, okay.
There's like so many Frankensteiner hurricanranas like in the Cruiserweight Classic. It's like that's what they do a lot of, and they all look amazing. They all look fantastic.
Yep.
Okay,
we talked a bit about Cesaro versus Sheamus.
Yes, we did.
So Chris Jericho against Sami Zayn.
This was interesting because we both called Jericho winning, but we both called it by nefarious means.
Yeah, we thought he was going to cheat.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, I have come up with our predictions. Whoever loses predictions, the predictions punishment.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Vince Russo has a shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com with his big fat bearded face, and it's just Vince Russo the brand. And Jeff Jarrett has slap nuts So whoever loses, which is me, 2 in a row. 2 in a row so far I've lost predictions.
Yeah.
So the next episode, the loser has to wear either Slapnuts or Vince Russo.
Okay.
I kind of think it should only be Vince Russo. And I'm wondering now if we should add a stipulation that like the shirt can never be washed. I like what you don't like that stipulation. You should feel great because you should be like, Steve's got to wear a dirty shirt.
Well, I mean, as confident as I feel, there is always a chance that I could have a bad month or a bad prediction episode, and I have to wear a shirt you haven't washed for 3 months.
Every time you lose, you should buy another one and then just wear them in layers. Like you have to wear all of them until you're out here.
And know that you're supporting Vince Russo.
Yeah, every single time.
That's the worst. That's the worst. Anyways, we'll talk about the details. But do you like that as...
No, I like that.
That's a good punishment.
Yeah, I like that.
Got to promote Vince Russo.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Or Jeff Jarrett. That's the worst. Oh, man.
Anyways, Jericho, Zayn, good match.
Yeah, really good match. I hope this keeps on going, but given the main event finish, I wonder if Chris Jericho is going to be the stopgap between Seth Rollins and Triple H. Or is Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn going to do it? I can guarantee this. I will guarantee this. Tonight on Raw, tag team action, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Survivor Series match at Survivor Series.
Yeah. Team, Sami Zayn?
Team Seth versus Team Owens.
Yeah, Team Seth versus Team Owens. I could see that happening. That's a bummer, too, because, nothing's going to be on the line. It's going to be no stakes whatsoever. I hate those
Seth, is Seth injured? I heard thingies this morning that he was injured.
Yeah, I guess it was that gut buster.
That gut buster was horrible. Is it his arm?
No, I saw a picture of the impact, and he landed looked like right on the short rib / kidney area.
Okay.
Of Owens' knee.
Oh.
And so they're thinking he might have a rib injury, which if so, those aren't fun. I've had a bruised rib before, and it sucked. Anytime you sneeze, it's just absolute pain.
I don't like. But it always bums me. If you're gonna get injured doing a really cool looking move like a Hurricane Rana off the top rope, that's cool. If you're gonna get injured doing the ugliest, I've never seen a move as ugly. I've seen a lot of ugly moves. A top rope gut buster is maybe the ugliest move I've ever seen in my life. And it looked like he got injured in 5 different ways. Me personally, I saw his arm going down straight like this, and it looked like he was gonna.
No, the arm looked fine.
Okay.
In the picture I saw it, his arm was fine.
All right.
It was bending the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, it looked like it could have gone.
But no, the
wrong
impact
way.
of Owens' knee looked to be right here. So.
Man, I appreciate high impact maneuvers. I think they can be when they're well executed.
They can be effective storytelling.
Be effective storytelling. You think Bret Hart's going to blame this on
Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins, yeah.
He blames Seth Rollins for hurting himself.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Oh God.
Well, while we're on the topic of the main event, we could talk about that more.
I thought it was a good match, but I didn't think it was any more special than something we'd see on Raw. And maybe it's because I take these two for granted. It could be that they just. When you're on Raw and you get a main event with Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins, you're going to get a really good match.
You know why I kind of agree with you? It's because when Jericho came out, people are like, oh, wow, Jericho's out. And then when he just stayed out there for the rest of the match, it seemed like the air got taken out of the building a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I did like Jericho turning up, though. I like Jericho coming to save Kevin Owens because it actually builds them as... It's that thing that I've always said that wrestling kind of... I'm like, why didn't that guy come out? They're supposed to be best friends.
Yeah,
actually having Jericho come out, I like.
They've been doing a really good job with exactly that. Like, Chris Jericho says that he's Kevin Owens' best friend, and that's been propelling all of Jericho's storyline, and it's been propelling a lot of Kevin Owens, too.
I like the Jericho that came out after he first interfered. Just kept on yelling, he's my best friend. Yeah. He's my best friend.
Yeah. And I like that he was wearing a Kevin Owens show shirt. That made me really happy that he was wearing his shirt because it's like, yeah, you want to go out there. Dan, you're exactly right. He's actually showing through action that he's his best friend.
Yep.
Whereas back when we had that Dean and Roman as brothers thing, nobody was helping anybody.
Nope.
Yeah.
Except Dean was trying to help Roman get over.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe
he's my best friend. Please like him.
The end where Steph gave that look towards the camera, that kind of knowing look.
Yeah.
I really hope they're not trying to bring back the Authority. I kind of like the idea of Hunter doing what he did on his own.
Yeah, me too.
But if it's some conspiracy that Steph's involved, I feel like it's just turf we've been over before.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. I'm kind of with you on that one. Unless we got to see... The only way that could be interesting is if Foley made it interesting. And I'm not sure if that means a heel Foley or a torn Foley trying to do his job honestly. And that's going to bring some good stuff with him and the Authority. But I hate saying the name Authority. I don't like the word Authority. I'm tired of the word Authority. And I think even at this point, Triple H came in and gave a pedigree to Roman and to Seth and gave the belt to Kevin Owens. People want to cheer Triple H. And so these days, and especially because they know that he brought us NXT and he brought us the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah.
When he comes out, Dan, the match that I mentioned in the Cruiserweight Classic, it was Cedric Alexander, Kota Ibushi, and they put on a hell of a show. Kota Ibushi went over, but Cedric Alexander did an amazing job. In the crowd, it was the Full Sail crowd, it was the NXT crowd, so they started chanting like "thank you" or "sign him" or whatever. Triple H came out, put his arm around Cedric, and gave this knowing sort of nod to the crowd, saying, "No, I've got it covered."
He's like, "Okay."
Like you can't boo that guy.
Yeah.
And Owens still has to be he has to be the Rollins heel that he was when Rollins was the Authority, but I think maybe booked a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Which they're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see. I definitely don't want to see. You know, the weakest part to me of Seth and the Authority was how weak he was booked. It was the constant help from Kane and J&J Security, and it's like, no, he needs to be. Triple H went through machinations back in the day, but he was a badass. You know, it might have been a sledgehammer. I'd much rather see Seth wield a sledgehammer than, you know, a couple of jokey security guards. And by the same token, Kevin Owens needs to be a strong heel, a guy that people can legit fear, and then maybe people will boo him, and you kind of need that back and forth. Like, we cheer him because we love what Kevin Owens does in the ring, but I kind of want to boo him in the way I used to boo Triple H.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know.
There was a video WWE.com posted after Clash of Champions where Steph was leaving the arena and she was getting into her car and Triple H comes out and he asks her, how'd everything go?
Yeah.
And she said, fine. They get in the car, they drive off.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't like that. That's not good.
No, I don't want more Authority stuff. I thought they were setting up, like, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho doing their own... Like, they could be a new thing. Just Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho being a thing. They could bring people on and they could do it. And it's run slightly puppeteered over here by Triple H or whatever. But it's Triple H trying to create his own new... Because he tried to create his own, like, replacement. That didn't kind of go well. Right. So why doesn't he now try and create his own DX? Or something like that. Yeah. And that's what... Especially with Kevin Owens doing the suck it and stuff.
Yeah.
Before falling through a table.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That as soon as he did that, I was like, oh no, they could totally do like a new DX, but it's a very different dynamic between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of fun to be had there.
I think it's because I think that's sort of a sort of an evolution, so to speak. Because then, of course, after DX, Triple H tried to create his own evolution. Well, he'll be the Ric Flair. He'll be going after the Intercontinental title one more time in his life. Yeah.
But the other thing I really want Seth to stop doing the pedigree. Because that's the move that Triple H gave him. I want him to stop using it and get something else.
Oh, see, I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like it because then it turns into it
adds to their feud.
We're adversaries. I'm still using your move, and I'm going to make it more destructive than you ever did.
I'd like him to only ever use it against Triple H. If he was in a match with Triple H, that's when he busts it out.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to let him bring the curb stomp back.
Oh God, I want him to bring that.
I know, like that would be my only way they could do it.
Yeah, it's just bring back the curb
that
stomp
week or
and everyone's
two
happy.
where Seth was trying out different finishing moves.
yeah. His what do you call that? When you're testing a product.
Oh, focus grouping.
Yeah, he was focus grouping new finishers. Yeah.
It's like in 2K16 when you're like, I'm gonna try a new finish, and you put it in there. You're like, oh no, I don't know how to activate this thing. Where am I running?
It's too slow. I keep getting reversed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like, hey, everybody, I'm sick, so I can't do a Seth Rollins. He's like, here, I'm gonna give you out some surveys. You can tell me which finisher you like the best.
He's handing out pencils as he's going up the ramp at the end.
He's got like little tiny pencils, exactly. He's like, here,
put
him in this box.
If you like this finisher, circle 10. If you don't, circle 1.
Put him in the box. Just put him in the box. I'll sort him out later.
Yeah.
Anything else to add about the main event? Will we see a rematch at Hell in the Cell?
I would think so. It probably makes sense.
If Seth's fine.
Yeah.
If Seth's fine. It kind of feels like, I mean, because there's this Cesaro and Sheamus thing was for a title belt, but it didn't say which title belt. So I'm assuming that's if anything goes wrong, we can put you on the main one. If not, we can put you on the US Championship one.
Yeah, they still haven't really said. I mean, back when it was all sort of getting set up originally, they were kind of vying for the US title.
They were inferring it was for the US title.
Yeah, but didn't Cesaro last night say Universal title?
I don't know. My wife was vacuuming during that interview, so I didn't hear it.
I'm pretty sure he said Universal title. Could be wrong about that.
I always really like to hear the things you're doing while watching it, because for me, it's like on at like 2 in the morning, and you're like, oh, I was in the mall. Every time I have to kind of go, hang on, wait, no, because it's not 2 o'clock there. That doesn't make sense. I could just imagine you like really late night vacuuming.
I kind of wish that it was on here 2 in the morning. I might actually watch it all the way through. But like I've got like I don't know, I've got like a ton of kids here. I've got my wife, I got my dog who barks all the time. It's just a goddamn mess. Yeah, that's just trying to do anything for 3 hours straight in this house is impossible. Impossible. And then of course my kid comes in, she's like 18 months old. She comes in, and of course my Xbox One is like right at the level where she sees a bright shiny light that she wants to touch. Like, Alabama, don't do that. And she looks back at me and smiles and calls me an asshole and crotch chops me, says suck it, and then hits it.
Aww.
Yeah, so adorable when she says suck it. Anyways, let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Rusev Machka. The one title I didn't want to see change hands. Changed hands. It changed hands.
I called it.
Yeah, I know. You called it to be contrarian.
Yeah, but everything right except the Cesaro Sheamus match.
I thought this was no. I know you did really well. I mean, I have to order my Vince Russo shirt. I thought the women's match was really good. I thought that was a really. We'll talk about that in a second. But I thought that was a really good match, and I thought this one was like if to me in my eyes, if Cesaro Sheamus was like top of the night, women's was second, this was third. Because I thought this was a match that felt bigger than Raw. And I can't really say that about many of the other matches. But this one I thought felt bigger than Raw. I still wish that they would book Rusev stronger. I wish he would have kicked out of at least one spear. That spear at the end. I think if Rusev kicked out of that, he'd look good.
He used to be unstoppable. I remember I can't remember how long ago it was, but I remember saying, what happens when he loses? Because like he wasn't losing at all. What happens when he loses? Because that was kind of all he had. And now he's lost things and it just kind of, he's just sort of there. I miss him being unstoppable and everyone passing out to his finisher and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is what should happen tonight on Raw. If they really want to elevate the U.S. title, this is their next step. The Universal scene has that tag match that I said. But in the main event, and the show should open on a cold open of Rusev destroying everything in sight and threatening somebody that Stephanie McMahon knows or some shit. Like he pulls the shit like when Mankind brought Shane to the ring
and threatened to
break his arm. Yeah, break his shoulder. Rusev needs to threaten to really, literally kill somebody if he doesn't get a rematch tonight.
He's coming with his tank. Just come back with his tank.
He just bulldozes everything with his tank.
He knocks over the set.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Boy, their sets are on point these days. Their sets look great these days.
I did appreciate that there was a lot of Rusev fans in the audience. Yeah. There were some people that had a Machka sign.
Yeah.
There were some chants.
Yeah.
It's great.
People love Rusev, dude.
He's great.
We were ahead of the game on that one.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we didn't get on that one. But Roman, I liked his reaction to winning the U.S. title. It seemed sincere. He seemed very into it.
I wonder for him if it feels like a reset.
Maybe. I mean, and he seems. I'll put it this way: he seems a lot more comfortable.
Yes.
Like if there was never that debacle with trying to force that title on him, he would be so hugely over right now. If he'd spent the last 2 years just with some really good feuds, like the one he had with AJ Styles, which granted I think was Roman the champion at that time. I think Roman was champion at the time. But if he wasn't champion, he had that feud with AJ Styles where he put on some really good matches. If he'd just been doing that, he would be massively over right now.
Yeah.
Just massively over. So, yeah, he's still digging himself out of that hole. But no,
he should do the Open US. He should do the Open US thing that Cena did for a while.
Dude, everybody who wins that fucking belt, we've been looking. We want them to do the US Open Challenge. Yeah. That was our favorite. Cena made that belt so awesome just by doing that Open Challenge. And then you had people coming up from NXT. You had Kevin Owens. Basically, that made Kevin Owens on the main roster.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good. That's still my favorite answer that AJ gave when I asked, do you have any regrets about not doing the NXT thing first? And he hemmed and hawed for a second, but then he said, man, I'm on main roster. I don't need to be doing that. That was so good. He's my best friend now. Whoa, Dan's, your camera went like flashed red all of a sudden.
I summon Satan! No. Not yet.
WrestleMania hell. So no, I thought that Roman versus Rusev was a good match.
It was a good physical match.
It was a good, you're right. It was a good physical match. I want Roman to get rid of that damn vest. It makes me it's getting to the point where it's getting me claustrophobic. Like when he was sitting there at the end and it was on him and it just felt like it was crushing him. It was matchguying him.
What's up with the Usos? They look like little tiny Roman clones now.
Oh, they're great because they went full gangster, scary ass heel. Like they literally come out looking like they're about to stab somebody, and it's great. Because you remember how anti-Uso I was.
Yeah.
Like
I remember.
2 weeks ago they went heel, and then like a week later they came out with like grills, but not like cartoonish gangster. Like mean gangster. Like then they were assaulting people backstage, and they just come off like they're really, really just nasty people. It was pretty odd. It's pretty great.
They've been doing a great job.
They've been doing a really good job.
Smackdown.
The women's title match.
The women's title match.
Great match.
Oh yeah, no, really, really, really good match. You called it. Charlotte retained. I figured that'd be. They want. It makes sense. They want to see where Sasha is injury wise. But a load of amazing false finishes in this match. A lot of really, really good false
some
finishes.
Good storytelling, teasing
really
something
good,
in the future between Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah. Really good.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes,
it's an important question because it's something that gets in my head and I get very confused. Who's the person who hangs around with Charlotte? Not very clear.
Dana Brooke.
Who's the person who owns UFC?
Dana White.
Right, there we go. It's a different side. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's not a bald guy, and I get very confused. I was like, wait, And I thought for a second they had the same name, but no, it's a different surname. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
they're both just Danas.
So
last night I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
There are a lot of it's funny you mention that because in the UFC there are people that I get confused with each other because there's so many Tiagos and Silvas that there's so many different variations on those names with like other names, and like most of them are I think Brazilian. I always get confused. I'm like, wait, wasn't he in the heavyweight division? Now he's a middleweight. Like it doesn't make any sense. So I do that sometimes too.
There's that CM Punk guy.
Dan, did you see the CM Punk fight?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was hilarious. Like, I like that he was at the end of it. He was like, I'm gonna do this thing, but it kind of he was annihilated vigorously. It was like,
he was like if you look at how bad his head looked at the end of that, it was like. But I asked myself, would I do that for probably close to $1 million? And they say that he added 150,000 buys to that pay-per-view. Like that pay-per-view would normally have done around 250, I think.
Yeah, it did close to 5, right?
It did close to 5, I think. Yeah, that's insane. And they say, oh yeah, I don't think his next fight's going to be in the UFC. I think his next fight's going to be in the UFC, Dana. Dana Brooke. I don't know. You know, you're talking about Dana Brooke.
So what do you think's next for the women's division?
That exact same match again, because that's pretty much all they seem to do.
I would love.
I like the matches. I just kind of want a few more people in there, just mixed up, and because it's always the same three, really. Well, not Bayley. It's always Sasha and Charlotte, and then they've got like extra one who's in there.
Well, now it's gonna be like it's just gonna be Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley. I would think that Sasha versus Bayley can be a feud for a couple months for the #1 contendership. I don't know if that's gonna be the case.
I'm thinking since Bayley took the pin last night, Sasha will say, I didn't get pinned.
Okay, yeah.
I want another shot.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's my guess.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, I think Dana Brooke's going to be that X Factor. Is Paige? Well, Paige was injured before she got suspended. I know her suspension's got to be over by now.
Her suspension is up, yeah.
So, but if she's... So, I mean, I don't think we ever did see Paige versus Bayley. Let's see Paige versus Bayley. Paige is somebody who can make somebody else look really, really good. She can make Bayley... Bayley can go over, but Paige can come out looking good, too. Yeah. Hopefully they're not in the let's punish Paige phase for Alberto Del Rio. Motherfucking Newcastle. Dan, you gonna go to any of those WCPW shows?
No.
No?
No.
You're going to go see Alberto Al Patron? Say motherfucking Newcastle.
No, you see, because if I go there, I can guarantee the night I go, everything will be terrible, and then someone will go somewhere else, and then they'll see. I'd meet a wrestler, and it would be someone I'd never know, and then everybody else is meeting Seth Rollins, and I'm just jealous. I want to meet Seth Rollins. I want to meet Kevin Owens.
You don't want to meet anybody less than Seth Rollins.
I deserve to meet Kevin Owens at this point. I feel like I built this company, damn it.
Oh man, Dan, make plans for SummerSlam to come out next year.
It's SummerSlam next year.
Yeah, make plans for SummerSlam next year.
Where is it being held next year?
New York City.
Oh, is it New York again? Okay, New York City. We'll do SummerSlam. We'll do NXT, and let's try to meet Kevin Owens somehow.
And come to WrestleMania.
Yeah, come to Mania too. SummerSlam and Mania twice a year. That's it. That's all we're asking. You got to be our Hogan, but our Hogan who says nice things. No sex tapes, Dan. We don't need that.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Okay, one sex tape.
Just the one. Just the one. So there's no. It's just one. What's the point? What's the point of just one?
Let's see here. Is that it for matches?
That was the show.
We don't have a.
Well, we could talk. We never talked about Halloween Havoc '96 or '95.
It was 95.
It was 95.
It must have been 95.
By 96, NWO was
95.
Swing,
we never talked about that, so
No.
we can. I know it was a long time ago.
We
full
can talk
disclosure,
about.
I didn't even watch it.
There was a beautiful moment where it's the Giant versus Hulk Hogan.
Look, the only match we need to talk about is the monster truck match. Why don't they still have monster truck matches? Can we appeal to like 2K games, like 2K18? Let's get a monster truck fight in there.
That's a great idea.
I like that a lot.
You played 2K17 yet?
Find out later this week, Dan.
Oh no, we could talk about it because we played it at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, we did talk about it something. Yeah, we have. Yeah, and we've got like a shit ton of videos coming up this week.
You bastards! I want to play. They have a section where you have to sell T-shirts in the career mode. I've never been happier to see a graph. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh yes. Because remember, like Smackdown versus Raw, like 2006 or something, had like a mode where you were the GM and you had to manage all the finances and stuff.
Yeah, you love that shit, don't you?
I love that shit so much. I've played it again recently, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
You want a Vince McMahon mode.
I do. I really do.
You have to appeal to stockholders.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
And negotiate ad rates.
Dan wants a mode. Dan wants a mode where a couple wrestlers bleed, and he has to reprimand them in the back and say, "Listen, we're appealing to shareholders."
And there's like a wheel
wellness policy violations.
Yeah, I get to choose the text like Mass Effect, and I have to pick which thing I have to say, like "berate, don't do it again," or like whatever.
Exactly, yeah. Or like you can be a really weak-willed manager, and then the wrestlers will lock you in the closet like you're Eric Bischoff. Oh, I love it. That'd be great. Let's make it. Let's take some of that. Enough of your little dilly-dallying Patreon doing other games, Dan. Let's make that game.
Okay. I'm actually looking into sort of like that sort of thing, but there's one, and it's like super intense and real.
Yeah.
And it's like Football Manager, but for wrestling. And I'm like, this is really awesome, but I have no idea what's going on, and it's graphs.
Well, that's
I kind of want that middle ground.
Isn't there a pro wrestling manager game or something on Steam?
I think there's a promotion sim on Steam, but I haven't really looked into it. Like none of this. Like it was all like. I don't know. I don't know anything about those kind of games.
Yeah.
But they look like there's a lot of text involved, and I'm like,
it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was like, if I want to read, I'll read a book, but I don't even do that. So I'll read my Chris Jericho autobiography. I'll just read wrestling books.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should we do a book of the match?
Oh, for next time, Dan. I want to appeal to you real quick. Maybe I know the Seth Rollins thing. Like you wanted to follow Seth. You might want to consider starting to follow AJ. Smackdown is actually pretty entertaining.
There's what you see. You've broken AJ for me in one way. Is that I can't hear the word "world" without you saying it.
World title.
Yeah, every single time I hit the word world, I re-say it in that voice in my head. Every outside of wrestling, just all the time. It's getting on my you're in my head.
No, it's good. That's good. That's been my goal since day one. I'm actually a really obsessive Nerd Cubed fan, and so like it's like since day one, and so now my final game plan is coming into effect. So I'm good.
You're actually inside my head.
It's been my plan all along to do that and to get Donald Trump elected. It's all been like my plan from day one. Just to mess with you.
I'd like to announce my retirement from going in Raw.
No, Dan, I'm joking. It's all a joke.
I'd like to do that because then we'd have to open up like the Going in Raw Hall of Fame, which is
Yes. I know. If you miss like 3 pay-per-view shows in a row, then yeah, you're just going straight into the Hall of Fame. It's a celebrity wing, though, Dan. It's the celebrity wing.
No!
You're our Bob Barker. No, you are Donald Trump because he's in the celebrity wing. My plan is working to perfection.
So for book of the match, do we want an old NWA pay-per-view?
Those are Dan's favorites, so obviously.
Great American Bash 1989.
Oh my god.
That's Flair Steamboat.
No, that's Flair Funk.
Oh, that's Flair Funk, and there's a lot of blood in it, Dan.
Oh joy! It's not that like regular. It's not like just like blood. It's not clean blood. It's that like dirty AIDS-ridden blood that they had back then. That's kind of like the blood that they had.
If you look at Ric Flair, he looks like afterwards. He looks so unnaturally non-human. Like you know how Brock gets non-human like skin colored, right? Flair does the same thing at the end of this.
It's Luger Steamboat.
Oh, can Ricky Steamboat, one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time, can he bring Lex Luger to a good match?
We'll have to find out.
I love everything about it. God, I love everything about this. Oh, the Freebirds.
There's a War Games match.
Oh my goodness, this sounds amazing.
There's a tuxedo match.
How can you go wrong with it?
Sid's on it.
Sid's on it, and there's a 2-ring King of the Hill Battle Royal. So that's a War Games match, right?
No, the War Games match is later.
But this is a 2-ring match. Is that just by virtue of the fact
War Games needs the cage.
Oh, this is just 2 rings. Okay.
Yeah, the whole pay-per-view has 2 rings.
Brian Pillman's in it.
2 rings.
Shane Douglas and John Laurinaitis fights in this pay-per-view, Dan.
All right, you sold me on it.
Scott Steiner's in it, but he's just part of the Steiner brothers, so he's not like let's see here. Sting versus the Great Muta. That's probably a good match for the World Television title. Oh, I love that. Oh, this sounds great. Wow. This is like a who's who.
All right, Great American Bash 1989.
Great American Bash 1989. We're actually going to do this book of the match.
Yeah.
And
I'll actually watch it this time.
Can we get you for I know this is only 2 weeks away, but it's the next SmackDown one and it's the one that we're going to. It's No Mercy here in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah, I'll watch that.
All right, watch that one. We're going to be there, so we'll give you the insight.
I want a Nerd Cube sign. That's what I want from you guys. If you have hold of a Nerd Cube sign.
We're going to take a Nerd Cube sign. It'll be Nerd Cube on one side and Going In Raw on the other.
Yeah.
Yes, done.
All right.
Then I'll be there.
We'll book it. Great American Bash 1989.
I really am your Hogan, aren't I? These are my demands.
Yes, exactly. You are definitely.
Dan has creative control.
Dan has complete creative control over this. Yeah, exactly. All right. All right, well, Dan, thanks so much. And 2 weeks from now, we'll do it.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right, talk to you later, buddy.
Later.